talking of rice and beans. As you can see, we've gone fat-assing. So while we stuff our faces, we figured we'd talk about some stuff that, well, people say all the time, but I don't think they necessarily know, like, either where it came from. They just, somebody said it, and then another person said it, that kind of thing. And before you know it, you have a bunch of fucking idiots going,
we're looking for the meaning behind the words.
Right? So, we figure, we'll start off with a few common ones, things that people say all the time, and are kind of popular on, I would say, social media still.
I would say it's still very popular.
All right. So the first one is, this one was one of my favorites because I love the shit out of this movie. It's Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Right. And so if you didn't know, Bye, Felicia is from Friday, the first Friday, right? Yeah. Felicia was a character in that movie. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should probably go watch the fucking movie.
And if you haven't watched the movie yet, slap yourself in the mirror because you deserve it. It's a great movie.
All right.
Moving on. We talk about Bye, Felicia, but there are other meanings behind other words that are commonly used that you just don't think of. Another one is to have a shot. To have a shot was a way to drink a quick thimble of whiskey, vodka, tequila, whatever, just a small amount to get it into your system and get the blood flowing, so to speak.
Yes, please.
I'll take two. But, it's derived from the 1800s in the Old West. To have a shot, not everybody had coin on them. And so what was good as coin or money back in the day? But bullets. So if you had a shot, you would give up a bullet, which is one shot, and you would have one drink of whiskey. Right. And especially in areas where money wasn't, that commonplace, or, you were destitute, you actually had bullets to protect yourself.
Chris Rock, I believe you have my property.
But that's where that comes from, to have a shot. And now it's just a common term for taking a drink of whatever you're drinking.
Yeah, right on. With bullets in mind, this is for the manly men out there, the ones that fucking don't feel pain. Back in the day, before there was anesthesia, it's like during Civil War eras, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing that they really do except just kind of grin and bear it, or just kind of try to breathe through it, because anesthesia was still in progress. So they would give them a bullet to bite down on rather than, yell and scream or, like break their teeth. So that term, bite the bullet, that's where that one came from. So if you think you're hardcore, next time you get a procedure done, just ask for a bullet. Hopefully not a live one, but ask for a bullet and no anesthesia and see how well you do.
Going to the next one, to turn a blind eye. So, back in the day, and I mean way back in the day, naval officers were on ships with sails. They didn't have propellers or anything else, or props, whatever, corkscrew spinner to keep the boat going. They had to go by air. And a lot of pirates used this as well, but it was derived from the 1700s to turn a blind eye. And a lot of ship captains would have a patch over their eye. Now, what happened was, just like when you're a little kid and you're running around the house and you close your eyes really tight, then open them, then you could see in the dark, was the same philosophy. So when you had one patch over your eye, it would get really, really, your iris would shrink, so that way you could capture more light during a moonlight or even a dark evening. And that's what a lot of captains did. They would have a patch over their eye, so that way they would be able to see in dark and be able to make their attacks accordingly. So, that was a reference of that time. And, it's been used for other terms, such as to turn away from something and not really look at it, focus at it correctly.
Pulling a Joe Paterno. This is one of the many names that's evolved into.
Sometimes when you're out hogging, you turn a blind eye to what you're looking at.
All right. And it's the same question every single time. Was it all fun and games until that point?
Yes, it was.
All right, the next one's all me. So everybody says cream, make that cream. Right. I was around in '92 when the shit came out, so I know what this means. I've been a big fan of the Clan for since '92.
Which Clan?
The one that's in the front. And so the one that ain't nothing to fuck with. We are of course referring to the Wu-Tang Clan. Great concert in Garden Grove. There was some on the story, but anyways, Cream was off the first album, Enter the Wu-Tang, the 36 Chambers, and it's an acronym. Cash rules everything around me, and so again, it's still popular in music, still very widely used, but a lot of people just kind of don't know where it came from. They just run around saying it without knowing, but that's the origin of that one.
Riding shotgun, saying shotgun, with your brother as you're going out in the hood, maybe get some hood rats going on, maybe get some loving, maybe going out for a drink or whatever, you call out shotgun. It's not just a term for buckshot or 12 gauge, 20 gauge. We're talking about something serious back in, again, the Old West. So Wells Fargo carriage would take all the gold and money and transfer from one bank to another bank, from a small city to a big city, to bring in money and goods to small towns that were only connected by dirt trails. And to ride shotgun would be the secondary person on this carriage with an actual shotgun in order to keep robbers away from them. Now, it's good up close, but from a distance, you really need a rifle and a regular pistol as well. But shotguns were really good when they came up too close.
People used to call shotgun. I wouldn't. My fucking friends were shitty drivers. I'd rather not see that shit coming. Fucking duck behind the fucking whatever seat was in front of me.
My boys would yell out shotgun. I would go, dynamite, stick my ass through the window and blow ass. I always won. So
I like these music ones that we came across. Put a sock in it. Back in the day, as for all the DJs that are out there, your vinyl, your turntable, it was like basically a big ass shell, right? And that was your speaker. Needle went down, and it was called a gramophone. And what you would do, because there's no volume, right? You get a bigger or smaller fucking shell, but if you wanted to turn the shit down, the easiest thing to do is to take socks and stuff them in there, like muffling a bass drum, right? You put pillows in there, you put blankets in there, whatever, to just stop like some of the reverb.
Right.
All right. And so, but it also, it works on volume. And so now you're stopping this, like, more sound from coming out. So that one, I thought was pretty cool. Like, all right, fucking, what else were you gonna do, right? Like, fucking just keep covering it with your hand.
I mean, it gets to a point where if you put that cum sock in there, it gets stuck. So,
well, at least it doesn't let anything through.
Why does your record smell so bad?
It smells like bleach in here.
I've had this taste in my mouth before. And to get one's goat, to get on somebody's nerve. That's one that I was using when I was in grade school, going into high school. But to get one's goat was a term that was used really good back in the day. And we're not talking about the greatest of all time, the goat. We're just talking about getting on your nerves, poking you, saying, hey, 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 until you slap somebody and get the hell off of me.
Lewis.
Well, in horse racing, sometimes the horse will get anxious and the owners will place goats in their stalls to calm them down. Rival horse owners would steal the goats and sometimes upset the horses to ensure a loss. So to get one's goat was to take away the calming effect and cause strife in a horse so they could win the derby or whatever the horse was entered in.
That's for all you broke motherfuckers out there.
Uh-oh.
everybody that ever said so poor I don't have a so poor I don't have a pot to piss in. Well, back in the day, you used to have chamber pots before running toilets, plumbing. Before that Mel Brooks documentary came out, move the shit from one place to another, pipe the shit right out of your house. Before that, well, you had to get up and go to the bathroom. You didn't really want to be traipsing through the field in the middle of the night to get to the outhouse, right? Or it's winter and snowing, you really want to. You want to really be out there, so you basically just went to the bathroom in a chamber pot. It's not exactly what it sounds like. Big ass pot, took a piss in, fucking threw it out, or
chuck it out the window.
Yeah, your fucking house staff would check it out for you, whatever. But if you couldn't afford that, then you were stuck with potential snake bite in the ass in the dark. Or getting eaten by an animal on your way to the bathroom, that kind of thing. So the term so poor they don't have a pot to piss in refers to those people that were hard up for cash that literally did not have a pot to piss in and had to risk life and limb going to the outhouse.
And I learned that too from Toy Story. Woody's drawstring got pulled. He said, "There's a snake in my boot." So yeah, that was bad. That was bad business back then. And when we talk about this stuff, we try not to beat around the bush. Now, in another term, beating around the bush is probably a good thing, especially if you're with that loved one and you're really beating that bush hard. But in the terms that we're talking about, is getting to the point. The animals themselves, when you went hunting, like pheasants, like doves, it's not like they were readily available. They didn't fly around in the air like pterodactyls and just, cloud the sky. You had to flush them out because they're hiding birds. They don't want to be found. And we're also talking about other animals like, small beavers and, big beavers and leave-it to beavers. But in order to flush them out, you would have to use a stick. You would use a hunting dog, and you would flush them out. And once the prey or the game is out, then you're the prey, and you would shoot them, have dinner, have a nice jacket, whatever you needed back then. So to beat around the bush would be to flush something out. In other words, don't beat around the bush, meaning don't flush nothing out you don't want to hear.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. More bar talk. Minding your P's and Q's. It's from back in the day, but it's basically telling somebody, be careful with your account. Don't be charging me more than I'm supposed to be paying. P's stand for pints. Q's stand for quarts. Right? So saying to a bartender, mind your P's and Q's means I'm keeping an eye on my tab. I'm fucking acting funny with that with that bill when the time's due. So that was one I always thought was kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. And then you get thrown out by the bouncer and realize, hey, where's my fucking wallet?
Right, exactly.
Another term that was used commonly back in the 20th century, the early 1900s, was don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Basically, do not throw out waste without understanding what you're throwing away. Don't be wasteful. That comes from a term back in the day when nobody had a lot of bathing going on, when we're talking about the common people. So they made one bath. They drew one bath with hot water. First, the man of the house who brings home the money and takes care of the family was able to bathe. Once he was clean, then the wife would get bathed because she's the wife of the woman of the house. Then your children would get bathed, and so on and so forth, until you get to the last person in the family, which is the baby. And by that time, the baby's getting washed in nice, murky, dirty water, hopefully not too much coal in there, and then you have bad water. What do you do with the bad water? But you throw it out. But there were instances where babies were in the bathwater and were thrown out because somebody had forgotten the baby was there. So it did happen, and that's why the term was created, which is kind of sinister, right?
I mean, Little nuggets floating in there from somebody hand-me-down rocks. All right, well, this is one of my favorite pastimes. It's called hitting the hay. All right, well, what the fuck do you think matches were made out of back in the day? Yeah, it wasn't super fancy. They worked with what they had. They stuffed, sacks of hay and fucking threw bed sheets on them. Bed sheets.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so hitting the hay referred to going to bed because your bed was made out of hay. That one's, I don't know, I always thought that was kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, it was, but it's one of those terms that doesn't really go on the tip of your head when it's said, right?
Right. I keep forgetting some of them need helmets.
Our next term, put through the ringer. Now, you would think this would be some sort of chokehold by a wrestler or a UFC fighter, but it goes back a little bit further than that.
I was thinking Steve-O behind Johnny Knoxville through the ringer.
Pump and dump. No, to be put through the ringer is going through hard times. To be put through your stature and see how strong you are. You're going through something, trial, tribulation. But it actually is derived in the early 1900s from washing machines. Now, washing machines weren't like what you have nowadays. They were not electrical. They were more mechanical at the time. And to spin the tub and wash your clothes would be an arm rotary thing. So there was a lot of buffed ladies doing the wash. However, when they're done with their wash, what do? You have wet clothes. How do you get those wet clothes taken care of?
Bring them out.
And so these washing machines that were handheld and later electric had a roller, 2 sets of rollers that were pinched together, and they would wring out the water. Right? So then you would put it through the ringer and get nice dry clothes, hang them up, and then you would have fresh linens for later.
All right. Well, looks like we're getting close to the end here, folks. It might be the last one. Oh, yeah, looks like it is the last one.
Yay!
All right. So, with time in mind, in the nick of time. So, this refers to money. All right, and how people used to keep track of debts and particularly interest. Right, how much interest do you owe? All right, so for every day that you get a debt, there was the guy had a stick that you owed money to, and he would put a nick on it. All right, so every day, you add more interest. So if you paid before he put another notch in that stick, then that was considered paying in the nick of time. So that's to not accrue more interest.
I get it. You get it paid off before the nick happens, therefore it's a nick in time.
Right.
Okay. That's a good one.
So that's just a small glimpse into a bunch of the stuff that people say and have no fucking idea. It's really not that hard to look up. What
the internet's just not for porn. You can actually learn something there too.
Yeah, it has other functions, folks. All right, well, we are going to be getting up on out of here as soon as we finish stuffing our faces, and we are off to see more of LA and shoot some more of season 8. All right, guys, well, until next time, take a toke and watch all your horrors go up in smoke.